Do we get this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, let's try the next one then. Everybody go ahead and try. Well, normally they don't write that 1, right? But I did that to emphasize. Look, do you think you have to check and see whether I have 1 in front of the quadratic term? Hello? Yeah, do you think it's important? Yeah. Okay. So everybody go ahead and try. We know it's going to be something plus, write it vertically this way. And on the side, think about what factors gives you 8, right? What 2 numbers can you multiply to get 8? Okay, go ahead, everybody try. So first of all, what you're thinking is, okay, I know that what has to be here and here, the first 2 terms of the binomial. Michael, what has to be here and here? Y, it's got to be Y. Is there any other case other than Y and Y? Well, negative Y and negative Y, like I said, don't worry about that one for now, because you could always simplify that later, okay? We will talk about that later when we get to it, but you're right. Don't worry about the negatives, just positive Y and Y. Now, and so because when you multiply like this, you have to get Y squared, right? Well, here you have to get 8, don't you? So how many ways are there to multiply 2 numbers to get 8? Well, for the easiest one is 1 and 8. If I could have 1 and 8, what else could I have? Negative 1 and negative 8. Okay, is that the only possible choice? No. I could have 2 and 4. Well, if I could have 2 and 4, I could also have negative 2 and negative 4. Are there any others? That's it. So look, it's going to be one of these 4, right? Which one of these 4 is going to give me, what do I want in the middle? Do I want positive 9y or negative 9y? Negative. This is where some of you guys messed up. We want negative 9y, isn't that right? Because after all, isn't this y squared plus negative 9y? Right, guys? Plus 8. So we want the linear terms. When I multiply like this, the linear terms, you know, the middle terms is given by some of these, you know, cross or the diagonals. Which one do you think we need? 1, 8, negative 1, 8, 2, 4, negative 2. Which one? One of these. Raise your hand. Yes.
Negative 1, negative 8.
That's right. Negative 1 and negative 8 will give you, if you don't believe me, let's multiply it out. What's y times negative 8, guys? Negative 8, what? Y. We need that y, don't we? What's y times negative 1? Plus? By the way, you see how everything's in between each of the terms is always going to be addition because I'm making everything as addition. Plus, what's negative 1 times negative 8? 8. Okay, so there you go. Let's check. This will be y squared plus, what's that? Negative 9y plus 8. Do we have all 3 terms match? That checks. Y squared. Do we have negative 9y? That checks. Do we have 8? Yeah, that checks. We get 3, right? You have to have 3 checks. So what's the answer? Yes, Victor.
It's going to be y plus negative 1.
Let's just write y. What's y plus negative 1? Y minus 1
y
times?
minus
Yeah, y minus 8. When you write the answer, you know, they want you to write it as simple as possible. There you go. So it's pretty straightforward. Yes? This only works because you have the, again, 1 in front of the quadratic term. Does that make sense? But when we do the other one, it's going to be very similar. Okay. May I give you another one then? Do you all get this? Okay, good. All right, everybody then go ahead and try this one here. Okay, go ahead. All right, so we know it's going to be p plus something and p plus something else, right? We just have to figure out what that number is, right? Because there's only one way to get p squared, correct? So let's look at 42. So here, this is what you're thinking in your head. I may need more space because 42. As you can see, if that last number is kind of big, you know, you're going to have more factors, right? But anyway, you could have 1 and 42. What else? If I could have 1 and 42, I could also have negative 1, negative 42. Okay, what about 2 and what? 21. Okay, negative 2 and negative 21. What else?
3.
Does 3 go in? Yeah, 3 and 14. And of course, I could have negative 3 and negative 14. Anything else? 6 and 7? Sure. And negative 6 and negative 7. All right, so you see, you have the answers in front of you. Okay, now which one of these, so that when you do this, you see why the diagonals are important, right? That diagonal gives you that negative 17. Which one of these gives you negative 17? In other words, when you add these together, you better get negative 17. Does that make sense? That's what you're looking for, right? When you add these two numbers together, which one of these gives you negative 17 when you add them together? Yeah, Melissa? Negative 3 and negative 14. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's plug it in, negative 3 and negative 14. Let's see if it works. Okay, so here, we gotta do these. Okay, so what's p times p? P squared plus, see, everything's addition because I have everything addition. P plus negative 14, which is negative 14 p plus, what about p times negative 3? Negative 3p. What about lastly, negative 3 times negative 14? 42. Does it work? P squared. What's negative 14p plus 3p? Negative 17p. Is that what we wanted? Good. Plus 42. So that checks, that checks, that checks. You see? So what's your answer? Who could tell me the answer now? Who haven't I called today? Yes, sir. Eric?
P plus negative 3 and P plus negative 14.
Oh, let's just write it as p minus 3. Is that okay? P minus 3 times what?
P minus 14.
P minus 14. Any question? Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Right? So basically, guys, you're looking for when you the number that goes in here is when you multiply, you want to get the constant term, and when you add, you want to get that coefficient of the middle term. That's what you're looking for. Isn't that right? You see that? That's the pattern. All right, let's look at the next one then. All right, go ahead and try this one. M squared minus 3m plus 5. Again, pretty straightforward. Again, your coefficient is 1. Okay, so I mean the coefficient of the first term is 1. So go ahead and try. All right. So first of all, you know it's going to be one of these two, right? 1, 5, and negative 1, negative 5. That's the only case you have. Are there any other choice other than no? So does the first one work? Does the second one work? Second one works? No, it doesn't. You don't get negative 3m, do you? You get negative 6m, don't you? Guess what? So after you try everything, guess what? It's a prime polynomial. Cannot factor. Yeah, so sorry, it was a little bit.
All got it right.
Yeah, but if you know that it's prime, you got to try every possible way. Does that make sense? It's not factorable.
Can we just write cannot factor?
Yeah,
Yep.
or not factorable or something. Yeah, or you could write prime polynomial. Whichever. I'm sorry? Which one has to be positive integers?
Or like not positive, like an integer.
Yeah, these numbers have to be integers. Yeah, don't do like fractions or, yeah, we don't, whenever you factor, we want to factor with integers. Okay, that's good. Does that make sense? No? Okay. May I move on? Yeah, so when you're doing your homework tonight, there may be some that you can't factor. Okay, so don't think that every polynomial is factorable. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Does that make sense? Not every polynomial will be factorable. Some of them you can't factor. Okay. Some, like, just like numbers, right? Some numbers are prime. So are the polynomials. Okay. But don't write everything as prime just because you can't factor. You got to try every possible way. Does that make sense, guys? Hello? After you tried every possible way and it doesn't factor, that means it's prime. Okay. Don't give up too fast, though. No, it's not on your problem. Okay, so look at example 6. Again, thankfully, I have 1. It's the first term, the coefficient is 1. So that's good. 1a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. How is this a little bit different than all the other example, 1 through 5? Yeah, now we have how many variables? 2. Does it make any difference? Not really. Okay, it's the same kind of idea. As long as the coefficient of the first term is 1, coefficient of the quadratic term is 1, it works the same way. Does that make sense? So everybody go ahead and try. I'll give you time. Okay, so how many ways are there to get b squared, guys?
No, 2.
2. There are 2. You could have b or negative b times negative b. Which one of these so that you get negative 2ab in the middle? Raise your hand. Rachel, what'd you get?
I didn't finish.
Oh, okay. So let's think about this together. So Rachel, we know it's got to be this, right? How many ways are there to get a squared? Well, a and a, right, Rachel? So it's going to be plus plus. So Rachel, which one of these can I plug in? b or b, negative b? Yeah, negative b will give you. Watch this, guys. Negative b, right? All you have to do is what, class? A times a is what? A squared. What's this? Plus, again, everything's addition in between all these terms. Plus negative ab. Here, plus what? Negative ab. And then lastly, plus b squared. Isn't that right? So this is a squared plus negative 2ab. Isn't that right, guys? What's negative ab plus negative ab? Isn't that negative 2ab? Yeah, plus b squared. Do we get 3 checks? Yeah, all of them checks. No? So what's the answer, class? A minus b times a minus b. Do you think it's best to leave it this way or write as a factor form? I mean, write as an exponential form. Exponential form. What's same thing times same thing? It's A minus B, what? Squared. Does that make sense? It's best to write it this way. Are you okay? So this time these two binomials happen to be the same. Rachel, does that make sense? Okay, I'll give you another one to try then, because something like this. This is important. You're going to see this for your homework. Okay. Okay, if you didn't get example 6, try this one now. This is very similar. Again, we have two variables. That's the only difference. Okay, you're going to have y's at the end. Okay, you see what I'm talking about? Everybody go ahead and try. Okay, you should all be able to get this right. Okay, so how many ways are there to get 4y squared, guys? Yeah, 2 ways. What are they? Yeah.
2 negative 2y times negative 2y. Wait.
No, there are 4 ways, aren't there? So first one is the easiest one, right? Where you get y times 4y or negative y times negative 4y. The other is, like you said, 2y times 2y or negative 2y times negative 2y. Yes? So we know it's going to look something like this. Xx, right? That's the only thing you need. What plus? What goes into the two numbers so that when you cross the linear term, you get negative 4xy? How about one person? 2, 3? Chris, what'd you get? 2y. Are you sure? Because don't I want to get negative 4xy? I don't want to get positive. Yeah, so I need negative 2y on both. Would you not agree, guys? Yes? How many people got this? Raise your hand. Okay, so what's then? Should we check? What's x times x?
X squared.
Plus, what's x plus, what's x plus negative 2y?
Negative 2y.
Negative 2xy, right? We want xy, don't we, in the middle? And what about this? Plus, negative 2y times x, you get? Negative 2xy. And then, of course, you get? 4y squared. Negative times negative is positive. Do all of them check? Yeah. X squared, negative 4. Because negative 2xy plus negative 2xy, isn't that negative 4xy? And then you got 4xy squared. How many people got this? Okay, again, do you think it's best to write this as something square this way? Okay, how many people got this right now, Richard? How many people understand it now, then, if you didn't get it right? You get this? Do you think you could do something like this for your homework tonight? Very good. Okay.